Hello everyone. Welcome to Bragging Rights. I'm your host, Jake Harrod. I've got Cory Standing. I've got Jacob Bowder. Let's get into this here. Now, for those who have never tuned into Bragging Rights before, I have 5 questions for these two guys, and each get a minute to debate and make me agree with them on how they feel about this certain question. They'll both have a chance to rebuttal. So let's just get right into it. Jacob, since you are the challenger this week, Cory's our reigning champ, I'm going to start with you first, all right?
Go for it.
Now, you both said earlier that you're predicting Villanova to win tonight's national championship game. Jacob, I want you to start and tell me which player for Villanova is most important for them to get this win tonight.
Okay, so there's a few ways this could go, right? It could go with Mikal Bridges, who's probably their best two-way player. We could do Jalen Brunson, who's really good point guard. He's got probably what NBA scouts like to see in that sort of Malcolm Brogdon type role. But I like Omari Spellman. That's their center, and I think he's a really important part of that NBA style offense we were talking about in segment 1, because he's a center that can bang down low. He can protect the rim. He's averaging a block and a half a game, but he can also shoot threes. He's shooting 43% from behind the arc, and we saw that versus Kansas. He had 3 threes in that game, and he really stretched the floor, because if there's a team with a big rim protector, like Kansas's Udoka Azubuike, you'd want him away from the rim as much as possible. And so having Omari Spellman, he's such a threat to score from 3-point range, that drags the rim protector away from the rim. And it gives you so much more room in the lane to work with. And that's that ability that Spellman gives you. He really unlocks that NBA-style offense because he's a true stretch 5 in the college level. And you really don't see that often. So it's probably going to be a matchup between him and Mo Wagner down low. And we saw Mo Wagner dominate the glass versus Loyola. He had 15 rebounds. That was a career high for him. And I don't think there's any way he can do that versus Omari Spellman because he's not going to be near the rim that often.
Well, like you said, he might be the guy turning the key, but the key that he's turning is Jalen Brunson. And like you said, that might be the popular pick among people, but when you look at this team, Jalen Brunson, like I said, he fits the perfect mold as an NBA point guard. He can score, he can pass, he can get into the lane, he can dish it out, he can defend a little bit if you give him the chance. I get what you're saying. Big men who are out on the perimeter and draw the defender out, it's really an advantage for these point guards. It's really going to be an advantage for Brunson to attack the rim, but when you think of who's running the show, he's not going to be the guy with the ball in his hands most of the time. He's going to be out on the 3-point line. Who has to get him the ball? It's Jalen Brunson. Who has to run the offense and set everything up? Who's the cog from the coach? It's Jalen Brunson. It's the point guard on the floor. Now, like you said, the NBA, the pro-style offense is having a profound influence on college basketball, particularly this year, and it probably will moving forward. But like I said, when it comes to a national championship game, when you have to rely on some guy, when all the marbles are right there, I'm going to go with the team's best player any day of the week, and that's going to be pretty much Jalen Brunson has proven to me that he is Villanova's best player. And like you said, they have a high-octane offense that is probably unmatchable by the Wolverines, and he's going to be the cog that drives them to that national championship.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that on 2 fronts. One, I don't think he's their best player. I think Mikal Bridges is their best player. But I still definitely think their key for tonight is Omari Spellman, because Brunson won't have those lanes to the rim without Spellman dragging the defense so far out. For this NBA-style offense to work, you really want to have at least 4 guys in the perimeter at a time. And having a center that can shoot threes does so much to open that offense. You can really run the pick and pop. Wagner is almost a defensive liability. I'm not going to say he's a full liability, but he's not a great defender. And so if you can keep running him in the pick and roll and the pick and pop with Spellman, who's a huge dude, bigger than Wagner, if you can keep putting him in the pick and roll and pick and pop and making him make the reads on defense and making him switch onto guards on the perimeter, then I think that's a huge key for Villanova. That's going to help Brunson out so much if he gets Wagner switched onto him, because Spellman's big body sets a giant screen for him at the top of the key. Now there's no one at the rim because Wagner's out on the 3-point line, and you have the mismatch both ways, both with Spellman and with Wagner on Brunson. And so Brunson might be the dude who brings the ball up the court, but does that mean he's the most important? I definitely don't think so. I think that's going to be the center who can totally open up the floor for Villanova's high-octane offense.
I gotta switch it over here.
Open the floor for that high-octane offense. Omari Spellman's the one who does it.
Well, Omari Spellman might be the one who opens up the key, but like I said, the driving engine behind that is their point guard. And like I said, he's going to have to get the ball to them. Who's, like you said, run the pick and pop? Who's handling the ball? It's Jalen Brunson. Who's going to be the one that's responsible for making the right play? It's Jalen Brunson. And as you said, when you open up an offense and you have a center who can shoot threes following the Chris Bosh, Kevin Love mold, yeah, that's going to open up your offense. And, yeah, you do need people on the perimeter that can make shots. But at the end of the day, are these guys just going to stand there and create shots for themselves? No, they're not. He's not going to create a shot for himself. He needs to rely on Brunson to score. And, like, if I can bring it down to one point when it comes to this debate, and like I said, who's the most important position in the NBA right now? Is it the big man or is it the point guard? And who are scouts looking for? It's the point guard.
Well, you guys both definitely had some very strong points there, but I'm going to have to go with Jacob here. I like the big man. You know, I like his mismatches that he can make on the court, and you know, I think he's going to have a huge impact on this game tonight.
Thank you, Jacob.
Now,
So sweet.
now, keeping it rolling with college basketball here, which player, in you guys' opinion, has helped his stock the most for the NBA draft here during March Madness? We'll start with you.
Maybe the guy who I just talked about,
Okay.
Jalen Brunson. And like you said, I'm going to go with it again. He's averaging 19.7 points per game in this tournament. He's averaging 4 assists. He has 2 games where he's had 6 assists or more. When you're looking for a pro-style point guard who can play the Malcolm Brogdon role, who can maybe even be better one day, you're going to be looking for a guy like this who can score, who can dish it out, who can score efficiently. That's the thing. You need someone on there who can make a jump shot, which Malcolm Brogdon can. Jalen Brunson's proven to me that without a doubt, without no question, that he's the one that's raised his draft stock the most during this NCAA tournament. And like I said, he's been the driving force behind a Villanova team with a offense that's unrivaled by anyone in years past that we've seen. So, like I said, the point guard, when it comes to being the most stacked position, I think he's helped his position more than any player.
It looks like I might have to keep teaching you about how important the three-point shooting big man is in today's NBA, because it's Mo Wagner. It has to be Mo Wagner who's increased his stock the most recently. He is a perfect NBA big guy, because you look at what the league is going to now, and you really want to see those 4-out-1-in offenses. And so if you can have a guy like Wagner, who is such a great three-point shooter, probably a better shooter than Spellman was, who I was just talking up. Wagner is a better offensive player than Spellman. Now, he is a worse defender, but that's a position, that stretch forward, that is totally a position where you can hide a bad defender. If you have a guy like Mo Wagner on the outside who can stretch the defense like that, who can shoot he's more of a finesse guy than Spellman is, so it's not totally the same, but he's got the three-point game, he very much has the driving game, he's got the rebounding, as we saw versus Loyola. I don't see how Mo Wagner can't be the most draft stock improved player.
All right, had to cut you off there. Take it away.
Well, here's the thing with Mo Wagner is we haven't seen this consistent effort throughout the entire tournament. We saw that yesterday. That's probably the reason Michigan's in this position they are now. But when you see, this is what Jalen Brunson's done over an 8-game stretch. This is what he's done since March 8th, since the tournament began. He's, like I said, he's been the person that they can rely upon. Is Mo Wagner the guy that Michigan's really going to think they're going to be able to rely upon tonight?
Yes.
They're going to go and give him the ball every time down? You think he's going to be the offensive force that maybe Final Four most outstanding player? I'm just kidding. Like I said, Mo Wagner, I'm not going to disrespect any of the points you made on him. You do need a three-point shooting big in the NBA, but at the end of the day, we've seen these point guards. It's the most stacked position in the NBA. Jalen Brunson all the way.
Here's what I'm not sold on Brunson. It's his defense. Perimeter defenders.
Wagner,
having a perimeter defender is so much more important. As you said, the NBA is a point guard-driven league. If you have guys, superstar point guards all around the league, so many athletic point guards all around the league, I don't think Brunson can keep up with them that well. He can run the floor for your team, but if he can't stop the other guy, then I see a huge problem.
All right, I got to end this one here, fellas. I'm going to have to agree with the Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has been tremendous during this March Madness, and I think he has been a huge reason for Villanova's success. So I like that. I like what you brought to the table here. Now, keeping it rolling with some basketball here, the NBA closing out. Season's finally coming to an end here in these next week or so. Which team, in y'all's opinion, Jacob, we'll start with you. Which team do you think has the best chance to knock off the Golden State Warriors this year?
I'm not going to say this is the finals that I want, because the finals that I want has neither the Warriors nor the Cavs. But if you're telling me that there's a team that's going to beat the Warriors, it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers because of a single name, who really it's a single name that is, I'm not going to say might be. At age 33, he is having the best season of his NBA career, and that is LeBron James. LeBron James is having such a good season. He's finally become a dominant perimeter shooter, and I think that's key for him because he is such a big dude. He's impossible to stop as he drives to the rim. The Warriors might have Kevin Durant, and the Warriors might have Draymond Green, but can either of those guys hold LeBron? We've seen in the last 3 finals, that answer is a resounding no. And so it might be a less talented Cavs than it was last year, but if it's LeBron playing his best basketball with a lineup that perfectly fits what the Cavs are trying to do, they have all the floor spacing you could want. Guys like Rodney Hood, that's such a big get because he's a big dude that you could put on Klay Thompson for a stretch of time. With guys like Larry Nance, he's going to finish lobs. He's similar size to Draymond. That's a great matchup right there. That's a huge addition for the Cavs. And George Hill is a great defender. George Hill will give Steph Curry some problems when they play.
All right.
Wow, Jacob Botter, you really put me in a difficult position here having to argue against LeBron, but it's the Houston Rockets, in my opinion. There's no question about it. Houston has been the best team in the West during the regular season. It's not been Golden State. And like you said, your ideal finals would include these guys and not the Warriors. They're, like I said, they're first in offensive rating at 115.4. They're second in points per game at 113, right behind the Golden State Warriors. But here's the thing. They allow 104 points per game, which is 8th in the NBA in defense. And have you ever seen that from a James Harden-led team? James Harden's having an MVP caliber season. He's averaging nearly 2 steals a game. Now, I get it. He's not the greatest individual defender, nor will he ever will be. But you got to think about one thing. LeBron James, in terms of having his best season ever, I would disagree. He's in the 300s in terms of individual defensive win shares. That for LeBron James, that guy who in 2012 and 13 in Miami was playing arguably as high as a level on the offensive end as he is now, and on the defensive end. Now, like I said, Chris Paul, James Harden, you're going to go with their playoff resumes, which aren't the greatest, but at the same time, this is what's going on. The Rockets, in my opinion, have the biggest chance of beating the Warriors, and that's before the NBA Finals.
Look, I am very aware that LeBron is having mediocre by his extremely high, typically where he is. His defense hasn't been there this year.
No, it hasn't.
But are you telling me you're going to bet against playoff LeBron? Playoff LeBron is the best basketball player that I have ever seen in my life, and that includes the defensive end. LeBron has been trying every night on defense because LeBron doesn't have to try every night on defense. LeBron has earned his right to do whatever he wants, to float through the regular season if he so desires, and then show up in the playoffs like Shaq was in the early 2000s and be the best player on the floor. And this LeBron James will do that this year.
That's a hot take.
This LeBron James will be blocking shots like you've never seen. He'll be stealing balls like you've never seen. He'll be bringing the defensive fire. So I don't see why picking LeBron's defensive part is a great argument, because if there's one thing I've ever learned, I used to be a LeBron hater myself. If there was one thing that I've ever learned, it's do not bet against playoff LeBron.
Well, you can say that all you want, but at the same time, playoff LeBron averaged a triple-double in the NBA Finals last year and still lost in 5 games. Playoff LeBron averaged 28, 8, and 8 against the Spurs in 2014, still lost in 5 games. Playoff LeBron
That's a little jump between years.
Like, playoff LeBron in 2015 was phenomenal, but he still lost in 6 games. Like you said, playoff LeBron is something that we haven't seen in terms of dominance since Shaq, since he was averaging 36 and 15 back in those early years when he and Kobe were together. But at the same time, it's a team game. Like you said, last year the NBA Finals, Kevin Durant was 33, averaged 33 points. Steph Curry was right behind him at 27, 10, and 9. So you have to, in the terms of other contributors, you're not going to get that from Kevin Love. You're not going to get that from Rodney Hood. You're not going to get that from George Hill, even though these players who are capable of defending, they're young, they're athletic, except for George Hill. He's on the pretty old side.
J.R. Smith, 55 points a game.
J.R. Smith, 55 points a game. I think J.R.
I got to cut you fellas off here. Sorry about that. But Cory Standing takes that one right here, dropping facts and stats here on Bragging Rights. So, Cory, you take that one.
It's a tough
now,
argument.
Guys, Tiger Woods, obviously, he's up there, one of the GOATs of golf, if not the GOAT of golf, making some noise here as of late. Cory, I'm going to start with you this time. The Masters starting on Thursday. Do you think Tiger has it left in the tank to make a splash here in this weekend?
This is a tough question. I've been a Tiger Woods fan for a long time. I really wasn't into golf when I was young, but this guy's one of the reasons that made me even start to turn on the TV. I've watched the Arnold Palmer Invitationals. No, I'm sorry. I don't have any confidence in Tiger to win this whole thing. Now, maybe, like I said, top 5, top 8 finish, that's seeable, but his back has given him so many problems. And just whenever you think he's going to pull through, it's the physical elements. It's not anything to do with his skill. It's to do with Father Time is undefeated, and he catches up with you no matter how long it takes. It's just like death and taxes. I'm sorry, Tiger. I don't think he's going to pull this one off. I would love to be proven wrong, but I just do not see it this late in his career at this age with his problems. Golf, like I said, golf's a tough game on the back, and
I got good news for you if you like being proven wrong. Because
okay.
You want to talk about recent history? You want to talk about Father Time?
Yes, I do.
If there's one sport where Father Time's not that important, it is golf. Tiger Woods, since his most recent back surgery, so not even This is just recent Tiger, and he's been getting into better shape since this last surgery. He finished 9th in the Bahamas in the Hero World Challenge. He finished 12th at the Honda Classic. He finished 2nd at the Valspar Championship, where he could have very conceivably won. And then he finished 5th in the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which was another one where he was rolling on that last day on Sunday, birdie after birdie after birdie, and then he messed up at the end. Really bad, just an awful shot. But he came back with a 5th place. That's still very nice. And we're not talking about whether he's going to win or not. We're talking about whether he's going to make a splash. If there's anyone in the golf world that can make a splash, even if he does nothing, it's Tiger Woods. And I don't think he's going to do nothing because he's been playing so well lately. He's been playing out of his mind. If he's going to keep that up, which he will, if anyone has Masters experience, it's Tiger.
Well, you're right. Anyone with Masters experience, it'll be this man. But at the same time, like you said, you got some 12th place finishers thrown in there, 5th place. That's not bad, but we're talking on Tiger Woods standards alone, the greatest golfer who we've probably ever seen on this side of Arnold Palmer, on this side of guys like Jack Nicholson. I'm judging him by a standard that we have set. Like I said, we compare LeBron and Michael Jordan. That's one of the toughest standards ever. In terms of comparing someone to Tiger on golf, I'm looking for 1st through 5th place finishes. I'm not looking for 12th place. I'm not looking for 8th, 9th, nothing like that. When it comes to Tiger, I want victories and I want results, and I just don't see it happening. Like you said, he may make a splash, but at the same time, I'm really, really, really concerned about that back. No matter how many surgeries he's had, it's always given him problems, and it's made him withdraw out of so many tournaments in recent history. And like you said, more recent, he's been playing well. I fear for him, if I can say that.
I don't know. You said you were looking for 1st through 5th from Tiger. If I'm not mistaken, his last 2 tournaments, he finished 2nd and 5th, which both very much fit in that 1st through 5th category.
That's a small sample size.
It's enough of a sample size for me. Tiger is back. He's back. He's playing well. His world rating has jumped real high.
I hope you're right.
Since that major peak where it was. He was in the 1100s. He is right back where he belongs, at the top of golf. And I don't see a way that he doesn't continue to come out here and show his dominance, because if there's anyone I trust in golf, it's going to be Tiger Woods.
All right, you're making it interesting here. I'm gonna have to give this one to Jacob. We got a tie game. Jacob, I agree. I think Tiger, his odds to win actually this weekend, he's got better odds than Justin Thomas. So I think Tiger might be able to make a splash this weekend. Now, 5th and final question, you guys. In NFL drafts coming up real soon. Arguably, it's already the year of the quarterback. I mean, it's ridiculous how much talk these guys are getting. Jacob, let's go with you first. Will we see 4 quarterbacks, a ridiculous 4 quarterbacks taken in the first 5 picks of this year's draft?
Wow. I like that you used the word ridiculous, because that is ridiculous.
That is
totally unheard of, but the answer has to be yes. Let's go ahead and look at the draft really quick. It's the Browns at 1. Browns are taking a quarterback. Giants at 2. You can make the case that the Giants aren't going to take a quarterback, but here's my news for you. The Giants are going to take a quarterback. 3, the Jets very much are taking a quarterback. 4 is the Browns again. They're not going to need a quarterback with that pick. 5th is the Broncos. There's a debate right there. So let's say there's 3.5, but then that doesn't even factor in the chance that someone's going to trade up, because there are some quarterback-needy teams. The Buffalo Bills right now are starting Nathan Peterman, the sort of former Vol. And really, that's not what you're looking for right there as your starting quarterback. The Arizona Cardinals right now have Sam Bradford and no one else.
Sam Bradford.
Right, exactly, Sam Bradford. So those are 2 teams that could very much use a trade up in the top 5. Are you telling me that Browns' 2nd pick, that Browns' 4th overall pick, is in a perfect spot to trade up to? I think we're going to see 4. Whether it's those teams there or whether someone trades up, I don't see how we can't see 4. It's the year of the quarterback.
Well, it just depends on what the Browns front office is trying to think. Like you said, the year of the quarterback, but at the same time, we haven't seen many quarterbacks that have been selected during the top 2 picks pan out in recent memory, aside from a few. What I'm going to go with, like I said, it's very possible that all these teams could trade up and get quarterbacks. Like you said, the Jets, Giants, they all are in need of a consistent performer at the quarterback position. But here's my point. I'm going to say no, simply because if recent memory has given us any indication, is that teams aren't really inclined to take quarterbacks early in the 2nd round. They focus more on this other skills positions, such as running back. You have Saquon Barkley, who could go to Cleveland now that they do have a serviceable starter in Tyrod Taylor, but it's not someone, like you said, he's not going to make the long-term answer. I see you looking over the camera with that sly grin on his face. But like I said, the recent history, I just don't see the Browns just passing up, taking the chance on Saquon Barkley not being available at number 1. Like I said, these quarterbacks will be available throughout the 1st round, because not every team's looking for one. But like I said, at the same time, you're going to have to look at recent memory, and like I said, it might be the year of a quarterback, but I have never seen 4 quarterbacks taken within the first 5 picks, and I don't think that changes this year.
I think it very much changes because of supply and demand. right? These teams know that the best way, we've seen the NFL recently, the best way to get good is to pay your quarterback a rookie salary, whether that's Russell Wilson or Jared Goff this year. Because if you're paying your quarterback not that much money, you can load up the rest of the team. You're seeing what the Rams are doing right now. You're seeing what the Eagles are doing right now. They have rookie-scale quarterbacks, and they are loading up their rosters with as many expensive players elsewhere as you can find. And so these teams know that's the way to do it. And the demand for quarterbacks right now is so high because these 4 guys aren't 4 of the best 5 players in the draft. Saquon Barkley's better, Quentin Nelson's better, Bradley Chubb is probably better. But since the demand for quarterbacks is so high, all these teams know it. The Bills know if they want a quarterback, they need to get to the top 5. The Cardinals know if they want a quarterback, they need to get to the top 5 because staying put at 11 and 15 isn't going to get them a quarterback because they know that teams are going to reach on quarterbacks. We see it every year. Teams reach on quarterbacks even though they're not the best players in the draft. It's going to happen this year. There's 4 elite quarterbacks to draft, and they'll all be taken in the top 5.
4 elite quarterbacks. Okay, now here's the thing. Elite prospects. Okay, we'll go with that. Here's the thing, though. You bring up Philadelphia in terms of having a rookie scale quarterback. Did anyone believe that Carson Wentz in his second season would be an MVP candidate? It's just the factor of uncertainty is what concerns me the most. You've seen so many people trade up to take gambles on these quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel. You've seen all these guys go. Jamarcus Russell, for heaven's sake. These guys go in the first round, and you see them not pan out. But like you said, the supply and demand for quarterbacks is high. But at the same time, there's a lot of teams that aren't looking for quarterbacks, and there's a lot of teams that are looking for a wide receiver, a running back. And like you said, like the Broncos, do you think they're going to take a quarterback?
Yeah.
It's possible, but like I said, if
you think Case Keenum's the future?
No, Case Keenum is not the future, but do you think if a Saquon Barkley could come around, you think they'll pass up on that? And like I said, I just never seen it done before, and I just don't see it happening this year. I've never seen it. Never.
Well, you both definitely made this one tough on me here. But, I think this is a very quarterback-needy and quarterback-driven league. I mean, I feel like all these teams are just desperate for a quarterback. So I'm going to have to give it to you, Jacob. And we actually have some hardware here you're coming home with tonight. So,
I'm truly honored.
So congratulations on coming home with today's Bragging Rights. This has been it for Bragging Rights episode today. I'm Jake Harrod. This is Cory Standing. This is your champion, Jacob Bowder. Join us next week.